Yeah. Well, hello. I can I be heard now? Chat is disabled for this live stream. All right, so fun. Let's do this. So, this apparently is my first time streaming live on YouTube. Well, apparently it's not. It's not my first time deploying on Heroku. So, today we'll actually be talking about how to take our application built using Flask and actually deploy it on Heroku. Now, Heroku happens to be a personal favorite of mine, right? Because of how easy it is actually. Because it's just easy. You just take your app and the deployment is straight out of the box. Heroku figures out how to actually deploy your app without you needing to tell it how to do the deployment. It automatically knows, okay, these are the requirements, these are the dependencies, and it goes ahead to install them for you. Then it can also figure out your Python package. Well, you have to assist it with that actually, like the Python version you're using. So, this evening we'll actually be looking at how to get started. If you look at my Heroku, you can see I have a couple of different apps I've done, and yeah, I find Heroku to be actually more intuitive than any other stuff I've used. So today I will actually just be sharing with you how to go about that. So first and foremost, we are going to whip up our terminal. Yeah. So I assume that everyone in this live meeting is on the WhatsApp group, because I just saw that this thing chat is actually disabled for this live streaming, which I do not understand, but it seems that every message would have to be um on the WhatsApp group. If you have any message, like if you can't hear me, or if you have any questions, you could just drop them on the WhatsApp group. So I believe everyone listening to this live is also on the WhatsApp group. But if you're if it's possible for you to drop a comment, I'll read it as soon as I see it. Yeah, but chat is not available for this live stream. So let's get right into the gist. So I'm going to share my screen, but it's going to be um let me see. Give me give me a few minutes. A few. Okay. All right. So yeah, I'm sure you can see my screen now. Okay, so I'll just go ahead into the meat of the day. So first off, we have our repo here, which you know this is a repo. So first thing first, we want to clone the repo, and then from there we take it off. So I'm going to enter where I put all my projects. Yeah, I could just like clone straight up. So git clone um httpx github.com slash maxavi, yeah, which is my username, then the name of the repository, California app. Then I'm going to clone this right about now. I'm going to enter California app. Then I'm going to look into my requirement.txt file, and so we look at the requirements. So we have flags, we have scikit-learn, we have pandas, we have seaborn, we have numpy. So I'll just quickly go ahead and create a virtual environment for that. Virtual env dot env. this is a normal pattern when you're doing a Python application. So we have a Python version. If I should activate the virtual environment using source on Linux, on Windows is quite different, but on Linux, how you go about it is source dot slash dot vim. That's the virtual environment slash bin slash activate. Okay. So once you do that, the virtual environment is activated. You could check the version of Python using this. And remember, I also mentioned that you could also give Heroku and hints to what Python version should use. So how you do that is there's a file called runtime.txt. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to okay, let's look it up so I show you what it means. Heroku runtime.txt. So you could just specify Python runtime. Right, so let's just wait for this to open up. Shouldn't take. Okay, yeah, you go. Sorry, you can see my browser now. So, all right, so runtime.txt. All right, so how you just do it is you specify Python version. This is the format Python dash then the version number. Python in small letters dash then the version number. So we're going to do that right about now. I'll be coming here and I'll just open vi runtime.txt. So all we need to do here is Python 3.10.3. So let me confirm, let me verify that. Yeah, that's correct. 3.10.3. Now I'm going to go ahead and do pip install all the requirements. Now this is how to install all the requirements. It's going to take some time, so while this is loading up, I'm going to tell you some things about Heroku. So one of the first things you need to know about Heroku is Heroku can figure out that this is a Python application without you having to tell it it's a Python application. Right, so immediately it sees the app, it's able to figure out, okay, this is a Python application, and then it figures out, okay, let me go ahead and install all the requirements. And how Heroku offers free CI/CD. So what does that mean? It means that even after you do your first deployment, subsequent deployment, like you make some changes to the code base, you want to redeploy, you just do git push. Your normal git push, Heroku takes that and actually deploys it for you without you having to do anything. Heroku just figures out that, okay, it just gets pushed or she just gets pushed to GitHub. So let me pick that up and deploy it. And even if you have new requirements, new dependencies that you just added, or you remove some old dependencies, Heroku do a pip install afresh for you based on your requirement.txt file. That's why it's very important to have a requirement.txt file. So now, next is how does Heroku know how to run your application? Now that's what we're going to figure out. Now Heroku has something called a proc file. We're going to quickly look it up. I'll share my screen while I go into the details of the proc file. Yeah, proc file. So Heroku proc file. Alright, so the proc file is a list of process types in an app. Yeah, it's a list of process types in an app. It specifies that this is a command that you should execute when you want to start my app. Now there are so this is it. The name is just proc file. P in capital letter proc file. Now you have a process type. This is a format inside the file. Process type command to start that process. So now the common process type that we'll be using is web. So we'll web here and then the command to start the web service. Right. Now, how do we actually start the web service? Let's look at our application. I think it should be somewhere around. Okay, still installing, but it should soon be done. Okay, so we need an application server to actually do this. Now, Flask provides us with Flask run. Yeah, Flask run. Once we have a Flask app, so we could just easily start our app doing Flask run this app, and it will just start up. But in production, that's in deployment, that would actually not serve us. We need an application server, and the application server that I recommend is Gunicorn. Now, mind you, I think Gunicorn doesn't actually work on Windows. It doesn't actually work on Windows, so you do not need to use it while developing. High chances are your server would actually have a Linux environment, so it will be able to run Gunicorn. But if you're using a Windows, there's a high chance that Unicorn would not work on Windows. Quickly verify that Unicorn on Windows, because it was actually specifically built for Linux. Okay, you can see. Um, okay, now Unicorn is for Unix environment and is incompatible with Windows. Exactly. So it will not work on Windows. It only works on a Linux environment. So if you have a WSL, it's going to work, right? If you have a WSL, or you have a virtual box, virtual machine that is a Linux environment, that's Ubuntu. It could be Ubuntu. It could be Kali. It could be Zorin. Any kind of Unix environment will actually work for that. So quickly, I'm going to see how we can go about Gunicorn. Sorry. So Gunicorn is a Python application server. Yeah, it stands for Green Unicorn. Yeah, G Unicorn. So I'm going to quickly install it, and we'll show you how to start it. So you don't need to do anything. You don't need to learn how Gunicorn works. Just it's pretty simple. I'll show you how to actually run it. This is taking quite some time to download. I think our network is a bit slow. Okay, so we'll come back to it. Or yeah, would definitely come back. I think we could come back. So this is how easy it is. Pip install Gunicorn. Then this is just displaying an app. This could be a Flask app. You don't need to worry about this part. See this section. You shouldn't worry much about it because you won't be doing this yourself. Flask has done it for you automatically. So you just need to tell Gunicorn where to find your app, and it uses a particular format. Now let me explain using our application on the hand. Okay. So I had an error. I think it was because of network. So I'll just pick it up from where it stopped. Alright, so let me open the new terminal. Now if I check my present working directory, this is it here. Now I want Gunicorn to find my app. Once I do ls, my app is here, right? Cards application. This is where my app is somewhere inside here. So basically we can say my app is inside application .py, and the name of the variable that is holding my app, let me try to zoom in. Could you zoom in? Okay, interesting. Alright, so I believe this should be a bit clearer. So if you try, like if zoomed in, that this is the name of the file that is holding your app. Yeah, it could be a straight file name, or it could be, maybe if it was nested inside a directory, it could be something like src application. But in this particular case, it is just here. Alright, so we have the file, then we also have the name of the variable. The name of the variable is application, and also app. So you can see this is a variable here, but your app was also assigned to that same value. So you could, in this particular situation, we could use app, or we could use application. You get it? I'm going to show you how the tool will actually work. We could use app and we could use application to actually start an app. So now Unicorn is saying the import the file, the module that contains your app. You specify it using normal Python import syntax. For instance, now if it was inside src slash applications dot py, it's going to be like src dot application s or without s, depending on your file name. But don't put dot py. Now you're going to put a colon. Then you're going to specify the name of the variable inside that file. In this situation, it could either be app or application. Are we together? So it could either be app or application. So we'll actually test out the tool. You just need to wait for this to finish installing. It's taking a bit of time. Alright, so but trust me, it's going to be much faster once it gets on a Heroku. So alright, so we'll just chill for it to complete. Okay, so we could, while we're chilling, we could go ahead and specify the proc file. Yeah, the proc file. So we're going to create the proc file. Now I'm going to show you something about Genicorn. Genicorn allows us to now Heroku. Yeah. Now, if you were deploying on your own, like on an AWS server, or you were deploying on a normal Linux server, you would deploy and maybe use Nginx configurations to you would basically run your app on a predefined port. That means you know, okay, you want to run your app on port 80 if it was like HTTP. When it was HTTPS, you might want to run it on port 443. Those are the defaults, and those are like the standards. So for an HTTP site, the port is 80. For an HTTPS, which is a secure version of HTTP, the port is 443. So, for instance, if you actually wanted to host a site, you have to know the port. So you say, okay, I want it to run on port 480 or port 443 or port anything. You could decide to use any port. I think Flask uses 5000. You could use 5000, then link it up somehow. But in Heroku, it works differently. Heroku uses I think it's like a shared server. So basically, they take a server and they're able to say, okay, we host your app here, but we also host another app right beside it. So everybody like gets a slice of a server. Now, your app now, so the ports cannot be predefined. They don't assign a group of ports to you. What they do is Heroku at runtime gives you a port. So while your app is hosted, that's when Heroku would give you the ports to use. So now, how would your app be able to figure out which port Heroku will give you? Heroku would set it as an environment variable. It would be set as an environment variable. So this environment variable now, you could tell Unicorn to use the port specified in this environment variable instead of using a predefined port. Do you get it? So it's as simple as that. Just use the port specified in an environment variable instead of using a predefined port, and it's quite it's way simpler than it actually sounds. And I'm going to show it to you. Okay, by default you could see Heroku Unicorn uses 8000 because no port was specified here. But we're going to look at how to specify a port. Alright, so go to the documentation, then we'll see all the configurations. We just need ports. We just need the ports. I think it's something called bind. Yeah, command line. It's something called okay. Alright, so we could do this and find it out. Okay. Configuration. Okay, so mm, all right. So look at the different um stuffs here. We have config. This specifies a config file. We don't need to reason too much about this. Let's look at WSGI app. This is going to be the Flask application. Yeah, that's what we call the WSGI application. So that's the Flask app itself. You just need to specify the module name. Remember, the module part will be specified as like a Python import part using dots instead of slash to specify the part. So it could be applications dot app or src dot app or something. But in this particular case, it's application. That is the name of the module. Now the variable name, we have two variable names. We could use app or application. Yeah, so we'll actually look into that. This is for debug mode. Okay, this has actually finished. Oh, so sorry, you were not seeing. Damn, sometimes I forget. But this has finished. So we could just do pip install unicorn. Now, mind you, we do not want to make the mistake of forgetting to put this in the requirements.txt file. So anything you install, open requirement.txt and actually write it there. Now you don't need to specify a particular version for JUnicorn. You could just leave it this way, right? So we're good. Yeah. So now if I do JUnicorn help, could see some particular things. What we need is bind, and then we need okay, bind. So you could specify this thing, then port. All right, so let's start our application. What we'll be using is JUnicorn, the application part, application, not application.py, just application slash app. It has started. Did you get? Let me start it using the other variable application. It has started. Let's try making an error to see if this will actually work. So I'm going to open up this in my browser now, and let's see what happened. I'll try to like put it side by side, so I think this would be better. So let me see. Okay, I think I'll need to open up. Alright, so any questions you could easily drop it on the WhatsApp group. So, like I said, if you look at it couldn't work. Let me try to minimize this so that we could see both screens at the same time. So sorry, just hang on. Trying to find a way where we could see both screens at the same time. Okay. Oddly enough, I was able to get it. I'm good at this thing. I should start doing it more. So, yes. I believe you should be able to see the two now at the same time. Okay, I'll just pin this. So just hang on, I'm trying to like make this as smooth as possible so we don't face those kind of errors again. Okay, I think we're good. Strangely enough, we're actually good. So yeah, I'm getting a hang of this actually. All right, so you can see. I'll try to zoom out so that it creates more. All right, so you can see it did not work. So let's try with the application, and then let me try and load. It still actually worked. So you need to specify a this thing, a what do you call it? Yeah, like the application part. So let's try with the app. It worked too. Let's try with the wrong variable now. I'll do apps. You could only download it, but what happened? Couldn't find apps in application. Do you get it? Alright, so that's perfect now. So at least we know what Unicorn is looking for. Now, what we need is the bind. So let's say we have an environment variable. This is how we create an environment variable. Port is equals to 5,000. So we want Unicorn to use this particular port, not this one it has been using, which is 8,000. So we want it to use 5,000. So how do? We could tell Unicorn, okay, start this app and bind to this address. We want to use 0.0.0.0, 4 zeros, 3 points, 3 dots, three full stops between them, 4 zeros. This is how you do it. So then you specify what you want it to use. So in this particular situation, you want to wrap this in quotes for a reason, so that you'll be able to do this port. I think you could also do it without it. So see what happened now. Unicorn is using port 5,000. You just told it this port. So you can see the syntax, $sign and port. This is, you don't need to go too much, you don't need to know too much, you don't need to think too much. This is the syntax. So this is exactly what you're going to put in your proc file. Tell it to bind to the port that is referred to by this environment variable. So alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a proc file. I'm just going to copy this. Yeah. Vi proc file. And I'm going to do web. And that's it. Okay. You've saved it, yeah. Alright, so Heroku has a CLI tool that you could use to test your stuff. So me, I just want to test something. Heroku local. I want to use it to test the app, basically if it's working. So currently it's listening on port 5,000. Yeah, so we could just open this in the browser, and yeah, that's it. So Heroku shows that this is actually working. So I think we're good to go. So we have everything set. So I'm going to list it out again so that we know. So the first thing is what we have the runtime.txt is used to specify Python version. And we're going to do, okay, what's the example of the Python version? It's Python 2.2.2. Obviously, like, this is just an example. Yeah. All right. So next thing we did is install Unicorn. So the installing of Unicorn now allows us to have an application server, a production ready application server. You can do flask run, but it's not advised. So Unicorn as an application server. So you have installed Unicorn. Then also don't forget to put it in your requirements .txt. Alright, so don't forget that. The last thing is I think the proc file. So you're using the web process. So the proc actually stands for process, process file. So you could have multiple process. So you have the web process. Don't forget that bind to ports. So those are the 3 steps. Basically, everything we've been doing boils down to these 3 steps, and this is all you need to know to actually deploy your app on Heroku. So I'm going to go ahead and do a git add, git, and everything. So I think I should be able to. Yeah, I should be able to. Let me just do it. So git status will tell us what we have. We modified the requirement.txt file, we added the proc file, we added the runtime.txt. So I'm going to do git add requirement.txt. I'm going to add a commit message. The commit message is add Unicorn to dependencies. Alright, so I'm going to add proc file, add proc, or maybe add Heroku proc file. Alright, so any questions though? Let me check the WhatsApp. Okay, no questions. So any questions you could easily drop on the WhatsApp. I would actually see it. Alright, so last one is git add. What's the last one? Okay. Runtime.txt, yeah. Is that it? Okay, yeah. Then git commit Alright, so that is it. So I'm going to come to my Heroku now, and I'm going to create new app. Yeah, and I'm going to, what's the name of the app? California app. That name is available. Yay, thank God. Alright, so let's see. Okay, connect to GitHub. This, you need to use this. You should be using this. What's the name of the repo? California, yeah, app. Search, and it's searching. Yeah, that's it. Connected. Yeah. Now let's see how this Heroku works. Is magic. Enable automatic deployments and deploy branch. How many buttons was that? I think it was like 3 buttons here. So that is it. Installing Python 3 points. No. We told you the Python version to use. Okay, we're going to fix that. So it's actually using Python 3.12.6. You could see it. So apparently it did not understand what was in our runtime.txt file. So we need to find a way to fix this. So Heroku runtime.txt. Again, look at it and compare it to ours. Okay, so sorry, we've not pushed. So guess what? This our stuff is going to fail. Alright, so let's expect it to fail because obviously we've not pushed. So just expect a failure because Heroku cannot find the proc file. It might not be able to figure out how to start your app. there's no Gnicon installed, so it will likely fail. Most likely to fail. So getting requirements to build wheel, building wheel, okay, installing and everything. And thank God for this, you would actually get to see what I mean by Heroku CI/CD. So this is our initial deployment, right? Heroku also has version control. I'm also going to show you that. It also has version control, so basically has many things you would actually need. Okay, so any questions, or just drop on the WhatsApp group. Are we together? Okay, this is taking quite some time to finish up. Interesting. Still running. Second time should be faster here. I believe so. Pandas, oh pandas. Pandas are quite slow. Maybe that's what's making it one slow. So yeah, so while it's running, I'll just show you around Heroku. So I have this place dashboard. Yeah, you could see how your app is doing. You could see it's building in progress. Okay, let's say I'm now on. You could see this one. You can control your dynos. What is a dyno? A dyno is more like a container. Well, let me say a mini server, but it can run just one process. So like for this application now, we have just one process, which is a web process, and it's going to run inside its own dyno. The dyno will be assigned a port. So I think that's all you actually need to know about dynos for now. Alright, so deployment method, you could choose GitHub and everything. It does automatic CI/CD. Then you could check the metrics of your app. When your app starts running, obviously, it would go on metric. Okay. Okay, I'm using. Alright, I'm not sure would really see metrics. You could see activities. You could add other users, add collaborators so that they could also deploy and everything. And you could set your app, you could set config vars and everything. Configuration. So if you have environment variables, this is where to put them. And every time you set a new environment variable, Heroku is going to release a new application for you, as a new version of your app for you. Then also look at Heroku gives you a new fancy domain for free, right? And it has HTTP, it has SSL already. But if you have another domain, you could just specify it, and you could add a domain here. Alright, so let's check our build. We'll just come to here. I feel no, so sorry. It's here. It's still in progress. I think we should have gone far now. It's still running since then. Like I said, quite slow. Alright, so I think we are almost getting to the end of this particular session done. Just waiting for the panda. Oh my god. I'll probably sleep and wake up safe, and this stuff is still running. But trust me, it's going to be done anytime soon. And I feel this is for the first time. There's something Python does to actually make installation faster. But well, we just have to stick around. Still running. Okay, so Heroku also has different kind of dynos. For instance, this particular one I'm using, I think is the Echo Dyno. Yeah, so this Echo Dyno sleeps. What it means is like when your app is not active, it will sleep, and this would save you cost while it's sleeping. So you could have many apps in the Echo Dynos. Let me show you mine. So you could see many of my apps. This one is sleeping. You can see so it's actually sleeping. This one is alive. This one is inactive, 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 sleeping, active, inactive, inactive. So the colors also show you like, okay, this one is sleeping. Right, all these other ones are not active. Maybe they were turned off. Right, but this one is active. It's supposed to be sleeping, but apparently someone visited it in the last, let's say, 2 hours or 3 hours. So that's why it's active. Do you get? So when someone visits your site, then Heroku would start it. A sleeping site, like once it's visited. For instance, now let me see this one now. Let me show you. It would now take some time for it to load. You can see it's still rolling. It's rolling. It's not network. Heroku is starting your app. It's going to take some time while it has loaded. Do you get? All right. So now once you go back here, once I go back to my apps, you see the status. Probably need to reload this. So you can see it's active. It's no longer sleeping, and this one has now started sleeping. Do you get? So you can see app is asleep, app is awake. No web dynos present. It was turned off. This one is asleep. Alright, so let's not waste too much time. Let's go check on our app. I have a hunch that it actually be done by our then. But let's still running. Something definitely wrong with these pandas. I've never seen something built for this long in Heroku. If that was just okay. Let's stay positive. This one is taking forever to actually build. It didn't do like that on my systems yet. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and do a git push, and let's hope Heroku sees that and say, okay, let me just abandon this one and build this other one. Alright, so let's see what happens when you do a git push. Okay, Heroku is billing me. Okay, child. These people will chop your money. Alright, so you could see that this actually worked ASAP, right? And the other one is still there. Let me reload this. Okay, you suspend your account by 29th. Okay, no shorts. I'll probably go and open a GoFundMe. You guys come and fund my Heroku. So this is the version 3. Did you see what happened? Heroku actually released the version 3 for you. And let's check our app. Okay, yeah, it's right here. So open application, and we have an error. That's nice. Our first ever Heroku error. And this is how you check errors. You go to view logs. Yeah, now you don't know why your app did not, why you got that error. So if you come to view logs, you should be able to see something helpful. And then let's run it again and let's see. You still get same error. Now you get something in the logs. So it's saying connection closed without response. Shutting down, worker puts failed to load, app crash. Interesting. Now we need to figure out which of them. Okay, but this build is still in progress. So which of the build? This one is still running after a long time. All right, so we have this build. Okay, so this is like a little debugging we have to do now while the app is not working. So if you go to our profile now, that could probably be one of the issues. So we have unicorn application, by imports. This actually looks quite perfect, but for sake of, let me just remove that and let's see how it actually functions. So I'm going to do a Roku local. Yeah, still listening on port 5000. So I assume it should be good. And GitHub add profile listening. And G push. So immediately you push, right, you could come here and see that Heroku will actually pick that up any minute. Alright, so that one is still building on. Okay, that's it. This is the one that we just pushed now. So Heroku is building in progress, and let's see. So you can see using Python version specified in runtime.txt. No change in requirements detected. Installing from cache. Using cached install of Python. So you could basically tell what the app is doing from the logs. Let's try and open it this time, and let's hope there's no crash, but there is, right, because the application fails to start, which is what. Okay, interesting. Let's see. No web processes running. So I think the problem is coming from that other one, and it has actually succeeded finally. So you could see no web process running. So I could just show you how to like go about that. So that one actually like that push we did caused a couple of errors. So I'm just going to do a new push now. So I'm going to create an empty commit, git commit. I'm going to use a message. Another commit. So you can actually commit on GitHub without actually committing anything, and git push. And obviously Heroku picks it up and says, oh yeah, let me deploy that. One sec. Not picked here. Alright, let's pick it. Okay, let's see the build log. Now we should be done in a minute now. Installing. Yeah, this is much better. I think that one actually caused a lot of errors, because that one, what happened now, I reason is that one was still building and we now deployed on that one. So that one, the one we deployed when that one was still building, let's call the first one we deployed A. So A was still building, and we because of it was still building, we went ahead to push B, and B deployed before A, and then we even pushed C on top of B. So C deployed, but A was still deploying. So After C now finished deploying, then A now completed deploying. So A was now put ahead of B and C. Do you get the logic? So that's why it was not able to run. But now we now have to do another commit D and now put it there. So D now went ahead of A. And that's how, and once we come here we should see something better now. Okay, no process type yet, but I think the app should work currently. Still not working. Let's review it. App crashed. App crashed. App crashed. App crashed. Okay, there's something for us to do to actually test that this actually works, because obviously we can't seem to figure it out. So I think you could come here. Yeah, you could see what's starting your app. Um, and run console. So I could say it should run bash, and it's going to open up a bash terminal for me right here. And I could do unicorn application. App. And that is it. Did you see it now? That's the error that's preventing the app from running. So apparently, like, it's trying to find something, but you can't find it. Housing. Where is that set? So anytime you have errors like that you can't figure it out, try to start the app on your own on Heroku to see if that error will actually come. So what I'm going to do now is let's, it's supposed to be somewhere like scikit-learn data. I don't know if I could get this file from somewhere. This is what's preventing our app from running. Well, that's a weird error because I didn't get that on my system. So. But this one is a tough one. I probably need to reach out to you guys for help. Um, all right, so let me see. And while help is coming, don't know. Alright, so let me see. I'm trying to allow this arrow hold me back. So make directory. That's weird. It's probably installing a wrong version of Scikit. And let me just. All right, so to push, and funny enough, scikit learn data search. It's using a housing data. Ah, all this will be crazy, but yeah, I think they should solve the error. The way I look at it, and let's see. All right, so I'm not going to let any crazy bug hold me down. Ah, damn, this bug is about to be crazy. But I think we all got the gist now on how to actually deploy on a Heroku, and this bug just wants to see the best of me. But I'll just leave it at this point. So any questions you could actually ask in the chat. Yeah, so while I go ahead and fight with this bug. So I'm going to end the live streaming now. I want to thank you all for coming, and I'll just go back and try to resolve this bug, and maybe we'll sync later. I'll just tell you how I resolved this in the chat. Thank you so much for coming. Bye. Have a lovely day.